What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Boleros Sam here with the Sultan of Sando, Mr. Gablim, and Mr. Maui Yap. 1 week after the UAAP ended, and we're back. We're back already.
Boleros is back!
Boleros is back. Walang pahinga. Wag, baka i-curse mo, Gab. Walang pahinga ang Boleros.
Baka di rin tayo bumalik yan.
Baka malasin din tayo niyan.
Knock on wood. Please, wag naman. Kita nyo naman sa title. We're back because we have unfinished business. We do have to talk about our Ballers and Boleros of Season 88. We haven't done this in a long time. It's one of our favorite segments here. Part of our OG segments ever since. So, if you're a fan of Ballers and Boleros, this is going to be probably our last for the season, diba? So, before we talk about our Ballers and Boleros, for those who haven't purchased their championship shirts yet, reminder lang, meron pa rin tayong championship shirts. Tama ba, Gab?
Yes, because the sponsor of Season 88, and of Boleros for Season 88 is Varsity Lifestyle Co., the official licensed merchandise of the UAAP. And of course, the championship shirts are still in stock. Are actually back in stock. They're back! They're also back!
The championship shirts are back! Oo, nawala. Ang bilis, na out of stock agad, diba?
Yeah, and I think you can still use our code Boleros to get 10% off your order. So for those na naubusan nung last run right after the Lasal Championship, or may hangover pa kayo at gusto nyo pa yung bumili, why not? Buy for Christmas, give some gifts. I think this would be a perfect gift to your Lasal friends. Or even to your UP friends if you want to spite them. I don't know.
And Ateneo friends.
Or your Ateneo friends. Kung talagang you really want to spite them. Go. Grab yourselves the championship shirt courtesy of Varsity Lifestyle Co. And you can use our code Boleros upon checkout. Tomasco to get 10% off your order. Who doesn't love 10% off their orders? Because I do. I get any discount. So go get yourself a championship shirt courtesy of Varsity Lifestyle Co. And kung hindi kayo lasalista at or kung lasalista kayo at gusto niyo samahan ng aming Boleros cap ang iyong championship shirts niyo, because it looks good on black. Actually, it looks good on any color because I think they're pretty neutral. So get yourselves our Boleros cap for this Christmas. Gift it to your Lasallian friends, to your Atenean friends, mga Payups friends, any mga Adamsonians dyan, kung may kilala kayo.
Classmate.
Yung magpadala kayo ng Boleros caps. The link is in the description below, and we'll be pinning it as a comment in the comment section.
Shout out to everyone who bought a cap already. Thank you for patiently waiting for your orders. I have shipped out the final, the last order so far. So kung gusto niyo pa mag-order, may stock pa naman tayo. We can ship them out during this holiday week. Okay,
yes,
let's get started.
Go.
Let's get started. Ballers and Boleros of Season 88. So, guys, alam niyo naman, pag sinabi nating Ballers, those are the biggest winners. Boleros, those are the losers of the season. So, since Season 88 yung coverage natin, we'll talk about the entire season. Not just the finals game, not just the playoffs, the whole season. So, you can pick a player, a coach, an X Factor, a whole team, a school, whatever you want. Let's get started. Let's do Ballers first. Let's start with the Sultan of Sando.
I already talked a lot about the De La Salle Green Archers. But I'm gonna talk about them more because my baller of the season goes to Coach Topex Robinson. What an ending. What an ending to season 88. After all the scrutiny, the hate, the criticism from LaSalle fans and non-LaSalle fans alike.
From an extension.
Diba? Oo. Having been extended in the off-season for the next, how many? I think 3 seasons. to getting fire Topex criticism. They wanted to fire this guy. LaSalle fans wanted to fire this guy. Remember, they started off 2-3. So he's been through it. Injuries, doubt, hate, everything that you could imagine this guy went through this season, up and down, and it ended with one of the most well-coached games I've ever seen from UAAP coach. And I've seen Tab Baldwin coach a lot, and Coach Topex coached a hell of a game in Game 3 to cap off this wild season for him. I thought he showed his caliber as a coach. His top assistant, Kaloy Garcia, was not present. Shout out to Apo, our friend, for pointing that out. So his main assistant was not there. So mostly he was calling every shot, every play, every adjustment that was made, that was being made in Game 3. That was mostly him. And maybe some of his assistants, but it was part of his call. That was him. He totally outcoached Goldwyn Monteverde in Game 3. Totally. All of his offensive adjustments coming off of Game 2, essentially neutralizing the Jacob on Jacob matchup in the first half. Eventually benching yung Jacob Baila because he was being so ineffective on the offensive schemes that LaSalle was running. From utilizing Mike Phillips more, from the defensive schemes, from using the 3 big lineup, which we didn't see. He took risks and it worked out. He ended this season with a championship despite everything that he went through, despite all of the adversities that he went through this season. He was able to come out with a championship and call himself, I think, one of the best coaches in the UAAP, if not the best. Well, I still think si Tab is the best, but he's up there. For those saying he can't coach, that he just had KQ, that's why he won a championship, get out of here. What are you talking about? Diba? You can have a generational player like KQ, but you still need to know how to coach to get the most out of that player for you to win a championship. Diba? That's crazy talk. Diba? It's insane to me that people were saying in the middle of the season and in the early of the season that Coach Topex not a good coach. He does not know how to coach. That was crazy, and I think he quieted all of those doubters in Game 3 because one of the best coaches also was on the other side, Coach Goldwyn, and he produced a masterclass of coaching a game. So, Coach Topex, you are my baller of the season. I tip my Boleros cap to you. Good job, Coach. I thought you coached a hell of a season. You and his emotions, diba? At the end of the game, I think there was a photo. He went back to the locker room and he was pouring out all of.
Ganda nung picture na yun.
Yeah, ganda. Because you knew that there was some pressure on Coach Topex. From everything he went through, there was a lot of pressure on him to win. Especially now that his lineup was full, complete. I understand the emotions that he went through. And kudos to him, man. I thought his season, that Game 3, was the cherry on top of an amazing coaching season for Coach Topex Robinson. Deservedly so for that extension that he got. Maui, Sam.
Maui.
Yeah, I think ganda ng pick kasi diba even si Coach Topex showed nung final, yung end game. Diba we covered this, Sam, you mentioned Coach Topex was missing when they were finding him for Coach of the Year, and I think the picture that was showed, I retweeted also on X. You can just see yung raw emotions of everything that maybe Coach Topex went through the whole season. That was how crazy this season was, and yet despite it all, they still ended up being the champions. And it would be a disservice to Boleros, to us, from us, if we didn't say that he is the baller of the season. One of our ballers of the season, definitely. Lasal should lock it up. I think from the start, we've been unanimous in saying that we wanted this coach Topex hiring. We were so high. We were so high for this, despite being people from the other side, 'di ba? From Ateneo. Just how he connects with his players, how he empowers. I think the best thing I like about him is how he empowers yung players niya. And it's one of the main reasons why players like Marasigan, players like Pablo, players like Abadam really had breakout seasons when the other people when the key players were out. And even so, even when they returned, still, diba? He still calls for that isolation at the top of the key for Marasigan. Still, he allows Abadam to shoot as many three-pointers as he wants and to create his own shots. And still, si Pablo, di ba? He continues to trust even when Mason Amos is there. I think yun eh. Well, if you talk about a player's coach, Coach Topex is one. And to connect to my baller of the season, actually, ang baller ko for the season is Luis Pablo from Lasal. And 2 years ago, he made the right decision 2 seasons ago to leave and bet on himself and transfer to Lasal. Number one, because he did it first hastily before the transfers of Baclaan and Amos, thus preventing him from getting a 2-year residency limit. So he can still play for more seasons than players like Amos. Number two, I really thought he was the X factor all throughout the season for Lasal. Di ba? Kasi we expected naman Jacob Cortez. I mean, maybe we didn't expect this level of production from Jacob Cortez, but we expected Jacob Cortez, we expected Amos, we expected Phillips, even Baclaan to be the ones that will be productive and be the ones to be the crucial players to lead Lasal to the finals and even a championship. But I don't think Lasal would be in this position without the hustle, without the defense, without the versatility of a Luis Pablo. And to all the people saying sinayang ng UP, yes, sinayang talaga siya ng UP because this guy is somebody that was the missing link, that could have been the missing link to UP's lineup. Diba? We've said the whole season, the missing link position for UP is the power forward slot, and Luis Pablo would have fit perfectly for this slot with UP. I think what Luis Pablo has accomplished this season is nabalik niya yung ceiling niya. Diba? Kasi before, this was a very promising guy. MVP from the high school ranks, Gilas Pilipinas player, very good height, very good potential, very good pro potential. Now I can say that he has Gilas potential in the future, and that's big coming from where he was a season ago. Not just because Lasal won the championship, but because of the changes that we've seen sa game na he's quicker, he's a better defensive player. I think he has to work on his outside shot and he'll be probably a complete power forward. Essentially, eventually, hopefully, he transitions his game to the small forward slot. This is a type of improvement that we've seen previously in Lasal with the likes of Kevin Cambao. Di ba? Yung crazy transformation in a season. And I'm excited to see what Luis Pablo looks like a season from now. That's something to, maybe as an outside shot, maybe he can facilitate more. Maybe he won't panic when he gets the ball at the top of the key and can replicate the type of success that they have with Mike Phillips as the creator at the top of the key. So very promising. I think that's why I believe that even if Lasal did not win this championship, I would have said Luis Pablo is one of the ballers of the season. Tam.
I agree. Good pick on Luis Pablo and Coach Topex. I think si Luis Pablo, I was supposed to pick Lasal din as my ballers. But since
Grabe.
Lasal na kayo, Lasal na
Triple
kayo.
Lasal picks
Triple
for
Lasal
ballers of the
picks.
season. Well, they won the championship, so
They won the championship so that's the obvious pick. So I'm
Green
going with
Archers
another pick.
podcast na ba to?
Green Archers podcast na.
Quiver
I
Master
Part
can't believe
2.
that's happening.
Yung
I
The
can't
Quiver
believe that.
2.
Shout out to the Quiver. I can't believe that's happening. But yeah, Luis Pablo was one of my picks for ballers dun sa Lasal. I actually wanted to call it the comeback kids. So Luis Pablo came back from, 'di ba, Lasal Green Hills in high school, went back to Lasal and is now a champion. He was huge for Lasal this season, especially after they lost Mason Amos. I think he really um took advantage of that opportunity and it really helped Lasal in the end game. Kahit na Amos got back, Luis Pablo was on a different level versus when he started out. So I agree with the Luis Pablo pick. I like the Coach Topex pick. Just to briefly go through yung comeback kids ko, I wanted to mention Mason Amos and Kian Baclaan. We've talked about them, how they weren't even supposed to come back because they had supposedly like season-ending injuries. And they looked rusty when they came back, looked unplayable at times nung umpisa, especially Mason. But at the end, they played crucial roles for Lasal in the end game. Lalo na yung 8 free throws that they made in the last few minutes of Game 3, Mason's clutch block and rebound that led to the game sealing makalalag layup. Baclaan was huge in Game 1. I think he had the highest plus minus in Game 3. So, comeback kids. Jacob Cortez was also a comeback kid. Going back to Lasal also. Finishing something that his dad started, which is doing something that his dad started, which is winning a championship with Lasal. So maraming mga comeback stories for Lasal. So they're my ballers of the season then. But since you guys picked Lasal, I want to go with another pick and I'm going with Jake Figueroa.
Just Sammy,
Sige, go.
before you go to Jake, I don't want to react lang to what Maui said about Luis Pablo. One, I guess it's pretty sweet for him that his best games came against his former team. So talagang FOMO ang siguro ang nararamdaman lahat ng UP fans and ng UP men's basketball team in itself. They're feeling a lot of FOMO for Luis Pablo because all of his best performances came
Actually,
against the
no?
UP Fighting. Yeah, di ba?
Actually.
Yung kahit nung last game against Ateneo, he wasn't that much of a standout.
Yeah.
Even games against FEU and Adamson, he was not a standout. It's just really against the UP Fighting Maroons. He brings out his best performances. Diba?
Actually, no. Kahit yung game against NU sa Final Four,
yeah.
he scored 2 points nung second game. And nung first game,
Diba?
2 points.
Diba? He's just really against the UP Fighting Maroons. He just ups his level. And you know it's revenge game. You know he's getting up for that and he always said, I'm gonna show up for these games against the UP Fighting Maroons. Literally his best games of the season all came against UP. And making UP regret for benching him. Because for those who were saying, oh, he was in the rotation, look back into that season, he was the third center throughout the season. It was only in the Final Four in the finals, he supplanted Sean Alter as the backup center. It was only that, and he was still playing center. Diba? And he's a power forward, which I think frustrated them a lot. Because they had Francis Lopez, they had Aldous Torculas as power forward. He couldn't play power forward.
Third dun sa power forward slot na yun.
Yeah. So, amazing season for Luis Pablo. And to add to that, I think he made the case that he's gonna get more minutes now. Because in the preseason, he was getting sub 20 minutes, diba? Minutes in the teens only. But now, I can't imagine a situation wherein he gets less than 20 minutes per game. I can't imagine that. With the way he played in the finals, I don't think Coach Topex is gonna limit Luis Pablo's minutes for next season. In fact, he'll probably start. I'll be very surprised if he doesn't start. Diba? Maybe you'll have one of the FSAs and maybe Luis Pablo there at power forward. I think he's made a case to be the top power forward in the De La Salle lineup.
Well, nagsabay din
Sige,
si Mason
Sammy.
and si Pablo.
Ah,
So, that's also a possibility. We've seen it
no.
sa finals. But
So
anyway,
go
yeah.
to Jake
Um,
Figueroa.
moving on to my baller of the season. I'm going with Jake Figueroa, and I think you
Getting the
guys know
bag.
why. Yeah, so we'll get there. We'll get there. But I think for the season, he played at an MVP level. We were all calling him potential MVP winner already at the very start of the season. Honestly, like, I think if they made him MVP, if they asked me to pick an MVP, I would still pick Jake Figueroa if you ask me, diba? But obviously si Janry Pasaol won. I think yung leap niya from the previous season to this season was huge. Yung playmaking niya, being that go-to guy, especially yung three-point shooting niya, has improved. I think shot only like 27-28% from three, but high volume yung three-point shooting niya. Averaged what? 15 points. It was playmaking, I think like 4 or 5 assists, getting like 2 or 3 steals a game, tapos may blocks din siya. So just having like an all-around game for NU. And because of that, and also huge kudos to Omar John. Because of that, he led the team to the number 1 spot in the UAAP. They only lost to UP hindi pala, natalo sila sa UST. But yeah, they locked up the number 1 spot nung elimination round. Jake Figueroa was a huge part of that. I think obviously it was very disappointing to for him not to lead the team to a championship, for him not to get a championship. But as you mentioned, Maui, I think the biggest win for Jake Figueroa this season is not the UAAP championship. It's getting the bag, getting a contract with Ulsan, a KBL team, and he's heading to Korea, Jake Figueroa. So I think he deserves to be a baller of the season. Maui, alam ko you're super high on Jake Figueroa. I think like 2 seasons ago, binabati mo na to na you want to see Jake Figueroa develop a 3 and he can become like an MVP. Parang kinol mo na to eh. So, anong reaction mo to Jake's season and going to KBL?
I'm just happy that he was able to get the bag and get to the KBL. I think it's the next thing that we're praying for him is for him to stay there for a long time or even get other opportunities abroad, better than the KBL if it's possible. But to answer your question, yeah, I've been a big Jake Figueroa fan for a few seasons, but I never imagined him getting to this level. I never thought that he would be an MVP type of player in the UAE. I knew that he had the potential to be great, to become a top player, but to be an MVP level type of player, to be quote unquote a franchise player in the UAAP, and eventually get to Korea or Japan. I don't think I expected that. I don't know if si Figueroa even expected that after being coming from high school as a power forward, di ba? And transitioning to another position, learning how to play make, learning how to shoot from the outside, uh, learning to guard multiple positions from 1 to 4 in the UAAP, becoming like a 30 light. I would say a 30 light, 30 like light in the UAAP. I don't think I expected that. I don't know if they expected that of him. I knew that he was gonna be a good two-way player, but never an MVP. And kudos to him. Diba? He's proven us all wrong, and I think it's why NU was able to become a number 1 seed. But I guess it's a bit unfortunate, medyo anticlimactic, because their ultimate goal was to make the finals at the minimum, and they did not get to the finals. But nevertheless, I still think he had a great season. NU had a great season, and I don't think it's any knock on them. Diba? Who's the champion? It's the team that beat them.
Yeah,
Diba?
to be
So
fair.
I think that's a big the big indicator also of why they were beaten by LaSalle, because they are really the champions of season 88. And kudos to Jake. Hopefully he gets his chance also Sana nga sa SEA Games naglaro siya, 'di ba? Since
Oo
since
nga, no?
since
Sayang.
he isn't, I think he's not yet, they're still working on his visa to get to Korea, so maybe he could have, but yeah, right now my prayer for him is to continue to surprise us, and hopefully he stays, di ba? We want players to be like Belangel, we want players to be like Kirby or even Kiefer, stay for more than 3 years. Dwight Ramos, di ba? Really get the bag, as in life-changing money bag.
You know what I'm most looking forward to for Jake Figueroa sa KBL? Gusto ko makita yung Korean transformation niya. Kasi
Sasabihin ko sana yung
si
sabi.
Napilangal, di ba? Naging Korean, si Kagulangan.
Feel ko ba?
Imagine Jake
Like changing
Figueroa.
hairstyle, the
Yung Korean
skincare.
bangs,
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Korean glow. I can't wait for that transformation. Jake, better talk to SJ Belangel. Sobrang dami niyang alam about like skincare and stuff. We talked to him. We interviewed him. That was one of the fun facts that he gave us.
Ang daming products na recommend ni SG.
Di ba? Di ba? Gab.
Tawa ako doon because I had the, see, yun sa naihihirit ko eh. Yung sana talaga yung mag-iba yung ano, yung complexion niya, yung buhok
diba?
niya. Because if you see yung SJ Belangel now, grabe ang kinis niya. Kinis,
Yeah.
the hair is so Korean. I hope we get the same from Jake Figueroa because it looks like everyone goes through it when they spend a long time in South Korea. They will have that glow up talaga. So I hope he gets it. But yeah, I've called him the MVP already for weeks now. Even if Pasaol won it through statistical points, Jake Figueroa, narrative-based record, everything. The way he played, the clutch plays he made to give NU wins. He's the MVP. We'll probably talk about. I want to reserve my discussion of Jake Figueroa more when we get to our awards episode, because we do have our awards episode. You watch out for that, but definitely agree he is a baller of the season.
Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about the Boleros of the season.
Wait. I do have some honorable mentions. Or
gusto mo na mag-honorable mentions ngayon? Sige, pwede.
Yeah,
Honorable mentions for ballers. Sige.
Yeah, yung for our ballers. One for me, Collins Akoe. Talk about Maui sa someone who bet on himself na si Luis Pablo when he left UP. Collins Akoe bet on himself. Remember, I don't think he was gonna be lined up in NU. Because they preferred si Omar Jan, which is why it took a long time for him to finally get to UST. But I think he chose the right one, the right school for him, and the right team in the UST Growling Tigers, because he got all the minutes that he wanted, and he was amazing this season, and he proved me wrong. I thought that his style of play was not gonna match the way UST played, but
yun yung concern mo, di ba, at the start of the season. Yeah.
And there were some instances sa Sami that I think I was proven somewhat right. There were some instances na he looked tired just going up and down the floor with the way UST played so fast. But in fairness to him, it's just like he has some secret juice or Jordan's secret sauce yung that he drinks at halftime, because he looks tired in the first half. He's breathing so hard. And then come second half, he plays the entire second half. I'm like, what the hell did he drink at halftime?
Naalala ko tuloy yung game 3 yung triple overtime game ng Ateneo. Because that's the perfect example of that.
I think Maui, we were together in that game, diba? And we both said, he looks gassed. First half pa lang, he was gassed going up and down the floor. But then, come second half, hindi siya nagpa-sub out until the third overtime. He played 50 plus, he played 50 minutes.
Crazy.
Diba? So, he definitely proved me wrong this season. And he bet on himself, and he was the rookie of the year, he was the best FSA, and he was the mythical 5-team member. Monster numbers. Definitely proved himself as the best FSA along with Mo Konate for this season. He was amazing. siguro not the ending he wanted. Siguro he wanted to make the finals or even win a championship with UST. He was one Nick Caballero shot away from making the finals. But Colin Sokowe definitely had a season to remember. There were worries whether he could dominate like he did in the juniors division, because honestly in the juniors division he just dominated because he was really just the biggest player out there.
Yeah.
There was no one else that could match up to him. So now he's matching up with players the same size at him and even bigger, and he still dominated. So kudos to Collins. Great season from Collins Sokowe. Again, I tip my Boleros cap to Collins Sokowe for proving me wrong, for proving a lot of doubters wrong, and for just having an incredible dominant season. Because there were times he was just really dominant, so big and strong. Remember all the fouls he drew, and remember the first game of this, the first game of the season against the UP. He drew how many fouls? 30 plus fouls. On the UP Fighting Maroons, or was that the total for the 2 games against UP? Just incredible dominance from Colin Sokowe.
Maui, ikaw ba may honorable mention ka or
Yeah. I like the Colin
go?
Sokowe pick. We're picking players who really exceeded expectations from last season. Not just last season. I mean, exceeded expectations from the preseason and from where we saw them before the season. Basically, my other bowler is another team. I think the FEU Tamaros deserve an honorable mention for me.
That was my
Nice.
pick also,
I
Maui. I
love that
love it.
pick.
Thank you. Yung great minds think alike.
'Di ba? Kasi I mean, they lost their best player, generational talent in VJ Pre. 'Di ba? He's part of the SEA Games lineup. That's how good he is. 'Di ba? I mean, he was considered to be part of the SEA Games. I know not considered. He's actually part of the gold medal SEA Games team with all the other pros and seasoned veterans na pros. I think we've said so much on this podcast on how much we believe how good VJ Pre is. And despite all of that, I think FEU even improved from the previous season. I mean, a huge part is maybe si Pasaol becoming an MVP player. Uh, when we get to
Hell
our
yeah.
award show, you might not have si Pasaol as our MVP, but he did have an MVP season and he was awarded. Not just because of the stats. If you watch every FU game, you know how much impactful he is, diba, on both ends of the floor. But at the end of the day, this is all on Coach Sean Chambers. It would be crazy if FU decides to go another direction. I just have to say this. They should retain Coach Sean because you really see how much yung player development ng players. And how much the players really like him. Much like si Coach Topex, he's a player's coach. Diba? So bonus na lang that this guy is also good with regards to player development. It's pretty ironic though that I think on this podcast I've said so many times for FEU not to start the season on a bad note, like starting 0-5 or 1-5, but they did also this season. But me still deciding to pick them as my bowler of the season kasi it was this small yung margin for them to get to the postseason. I mean, everything they could control, they did it. I mean, everything that they could control, they were successful, diba? They just couldn't make Ateneo beat Lasal to force a decider game. I think that FEU fans have a lot to hope for, and I'm knocking on wood. Please, Lord, please, hopefully this lineup will stay intact next season, unless if players like Pasaol get a pro contract, which I think is a positive also for the FEU program. Hopefully this team stays intact. Hopefully no other UAAP team calls on Mungkopa, calls on Pasaol or all the other players. I think si Bautista has already committed to come back for his last playing year.
No! Joric, why?
Oh God.
So I think there's a lot to be excited for and to be hopeful for when it comes to FEU. Now I think yung ceiling nila, they've showed their potential ceiling. They've showed how good they can be. So they have to perform next season and hopefully don't start on a pretty bad note. Next season could be a different story if they don't make the final four. I'll say it first. If they don't make the final four next season, they will be my Boleros for season 89. Tab.
Ganda ng pick for FEU because I think none of us expected FEU to make it to number 5. Diba? I think we put them in 7 or 6 sa preseason ranking natin. So,
But we did say, Sammy, they have the capability to rise
Yeah.
up on
Yeah.
those ranks.
But-
Para interchangeable naman yung mga 5 to 7
Ateneo,
or
Adamson,
4 to
FEU.
7, diba? Yeah.
But I think overall, they surprised us. Given yung expectation natin, like with VJ Pre leaving.
Definitely.
And I think yung two things talaga na pinoint out mo, Maui. VJ Pre leaving, and also, we did not expect John Ray Pasaol to make this huge of a leap. From first year to second year. Especially at that position, diba? Sabi mo, the most difficult position to adjust to. Yung point guard position. So, I love that pick. Anything you wanna add, Gab, before we move forward?
Yeah, I did wanted to say FEU also. Actually, nagulat ako na Maui had FEU also because yung honorable mentions ko were definitely Colin Sakowe and the FEU Tamaros. But to go more in depth, I think another baller of the season, Kirby Moncopa. What a feel-good story for this guy.
Yeah.
2 years away from basketball, breaking his
Yun ang
leg from
tunay
an
na
accident.
comeback kid.
Yeah, yun ang tunay na comeback kid, diba?
Yeah, yan ang legit na comeback kid.
Special 2 years off. Had a bad injury, worked his way back, and I think looked incredible this season. He was the guy I was high on. If you look at their championship team back in high school, it was him, Pasaol, Miranda, and BJ Pre. He was the best player. He was the MVP of that team. He was their all around do it all forward. And he proved it.
Kahit si
Si
VJ,
Pre
amazed
yung-
na amazed sa kanya diba? Sabi niya,
Tsaka-
he's so high on
Tsaka
him.
kala mo na Jay Williams na siya, no? But what a way to introduce yourself to the UAAP Seniors Division.
Yeah, slow start. I think he started out coming off the bench. Eventually, I think Sean Chambers was like, "Nah, we need him starting and playing big minutes because he's so good." I mean, most of the playmaking goes to Pasaol and Moncopa. They don't run any ball screen actions anymore for Joric. They just run Joric off picks and have Joric shoot threes. But most of the playmaking goes through Moncopa and Pasaol. And a lot of their wins, especially in the second round, you have to credit a lot to how Moncopa and Pasaol just orchestrated their offense. Ang ganda na laro ni Kirby. This was the guy that I saw in high school. The do-it-all forward who can block shots, defend taller players, bring up the ball, run his own pick and roll, shoot from the outside, finish in the paint. He can do everything on the court. I love this guy. And not to mention, he's not that tall. But he still gets block shots yung over taller players. He can still protect the rim. He can guard multiple positions. Ang ganda, I love Kirby Moncopa's game. This was the player that I envisioned when I watched him in high school. And now he's here in the seniors division and he looks amazing. Honestly, yung tama ka, Maui. Next season, dapat Final Four, FEU. I would be shocked if they're not. Well, again, knock on wood that they keep this team together. Please, no one try to get any of their players. Except kung pro team kayo, please don't get any of their players because I want this rebuild to work. This is a team that has been rebuilding for how many seasons now? They've just been derailed because of other teams trying to get their players. But if they keep this team together, and especially with their bench now producing, heck, bright future for this FEU team. I didn't think that I would be saying this after VJ Pre left, but a championship is on the horizon for the FEU Tamaros. Remember last season sabi ko, I think there's a championship in the future of this FEU team if they keep keep this core together.
Mhm.
Along with Mo Conate. Remember, si Mo Conate is only
Second year?
just finished his
Yeah.
second year. He's still gonna play for next season.
Siguro
So,
naman.
Siguro naman.
Sigurado na yun.
Siguro naman. Oh, sure na yun. I
Nasa
mean, they would be si Coach Sean Chambers, hindi nga yung pinapahinga si Mo Conate, yung may balls pa siya tanggalin sa lineup. No way, come on. Diba? So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the future of this FEU Tamaros. What a second round. The wins that they pulled off, amazing. Clutch performances from this FEU team. Ang kulang na lang siguro ay magsuot sila ng Ateneo jacket or shirt nung game nung Ateneo Lasal game. Si Mark Molina nagsuot na ng Ateneo jacket eh. Sina Kirby, sina John Ray, ayaw lang magsuot eh. Come on. You were cheering for Ateneo. Yun na lang sana dapat ginawa niyo. Baka yung baka nag-come true na nanalo ngayong Ateneo and will have that step ladder for the 4th seed. Yun na lang eh.
Nakita natin si Joric, kinabahan sila eh. Maui.
Actually, may promise kami. We talked about the FEU Tamaros. May promise kaming tatlo. We won't interview Mopa. We won't interview Pasaol in the off-season. We won't jinx it, so they won't transfer.
Oo nga, actually. Magandang ano yan. Magandang bagay. Sige,
To our friend Jeffrey, we promise. Next season na kayo, Pasaol and Mopa. Kahit nag-MVP si Pasaol, we won't even try to get you on the podcast.
Off limits. Alam mo naman, podcasters. Yeah, sige. Ako just quickly, I think for me, baller of the season, parity. I think this was like a very unexpected season for us. This was one of the most interesting seasons. Who knew Lasal, UP would start 0-2. Who knew Lasal would end up number 4 and then end up being champions pa rin. We didn't expect FEU to be this good, ending up number 5, almost making it to the Final 4 if it were not for Ateneo. Ateneo starting out really hot. Adamson beating big schools, keeping it close. So I think this season was very unexpected. Yung standings, yung games, day to day, lalo na yung Wednesdays, diba? Wild Wednesdays, grabe. We had so many crazy, exciting, unexpected games. So I think baller is parity and the UAAP fans. What a season, yung season 88.
Ang ganda. Each game until the last day of the season mattered. Diba? Until the last second of the season, of the elimination round mattered. Remember, Ateneo Lasal was the last game of the season. Until the last few seconds, the game mattered. For Final Four contention. Even the FEU UST game, which was supposed to be a giveaway game for UST, lumaban sila nung 4th quarter. Remember? They were playing their bench guys for 3 quarters. Then suddenly, Coach Mido chose na, okay, lalaban tayo sa 4th quarter. Humabol sila and FEU eventually pulled out the win. But they were scared. Humabol ang UST noon. Diba? So, ang ganda. Siguro the only game siguro that didn't matter was the NU-UST game nung
the first half
Sunday. The first half mattered and the second half, Jake Figueroa yung didn't play, so they didn't try anymore. But yeah, a lot of the games mattered. Heck, even UE's final game mattered.
Yeah, they wanted to win.
They wanted to win.
Ayaw maging 0-14, diba?
Yeah. And they wanted to play spoiler to FEU, diba? If FEU lost, tanggal sila eh. So, every game mattered. Ang ganda. The battle for seeding, the battle for the Final Four contention was amazing. 7 teams were in contention until the last week of the season.
That's crazy.
Diba? Imagine if we had 8. Diba? Imagine if UE kept their players and had the intact core. Imagine that. Imagine if 8 teams were battling it out for Final Four. Ang ganda. Ang ganda. This is what parity looks like. And I hope we get more of these. I hope we get more seasons like these, diba?
Yeah, just another comment doon sa parity. And I think it's one of the main reasons why our 4th seed was able to get the championship. Diba? That was how challenging the season was. That a team like Lasal won the championship as the fourth seed. A team like Lasal, who everybody said was favorites along with UP. Diba? Kasi let's be real, in the off-season, these two teams were really the favorites and it still ended up that way. But Lasal almost did not make it and still won the championship. That's how crazy the season was. I mean, if Ateneo was somehow was able to upset them, who knows what would have happened? Diba, in the Final Four. That's what we want in the UAAP. It was
Oo nga, yung mga, ang
despite
daming scenarios no?
despite being Lasal UP sa finals, diba? There was so much unpredictability of during the
Uncertainty.
season. Uncertainty. You couldn't say kung sino mananalo in most games, 'di ba? I think even UP was a bit unpredictable nung start when they started 0-2, 'di ba? So this is the UAAP we wanted and I think it's reflected by kaya yung emotions ng fans nung finals was on another level. Why 20 plus thousand, 24,000 watch the game 3 of the trilogy of the finals and some people were not even from UP or Lasal. Diba that's how exciting this season was.
Okay, any other honorable mentions? I think siguro let's just if wala, let's just end it here. Let's talk about our boleros as a part 2. Medyo napasarap ang usapan kasi natin sa ballers. Let's do
Ang
part
ganda na
2,
season eh.
boleros of
Ang
the
dami mo pwedeng
season.
sabihin.
That's how much we love this season na ang dami natin pinag-usapan. Ballers pa lang.
Ballers pa lang yun, guys. So, please comment down below your ballers of the season. It could be a player, a coach, or a team, whatever you think was really amazing during the entire season 88. Let us know your thoughts and then stay tuned for part 2 of our ballers and boleros of the season. We'll talk about the boleros naman sa susunod. So that's it for today. We'll see you again next time. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel. Bye-bye. Peace out.